Hi everyone, welcome to a weekly craft vlog. So I'm going to try to do these videos weekly as opposed to monthly. So the format of the videos will more or less be the same as I have been releasing monthly. So essentially this week I have just documented some of my knitting and the crafts that I have gotten up to this week. So hopefully you will enjoy this video. Let's start with what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the Korshan slipover by Tonje Hotner, and I finished it in January, so I talk more about it in my January's podcast episode. And this is the Romanticist Bandana by Meredith Campbell. And I think I knitted this a few years ago now, and it is an accessory that I totally reach for when the weather is sunny, yet there is still a slight chill in the air. So it's perfect for spring and perfect for the weather we are currently having. So the format of this particular video is I have filmed some of the crafts that I have done this week, as I only released my February episode last week. So let's start with the knitting project that I have gotten the most joy out of this week, and this is the item that I have been knitting on the most. So this is the Tucker Tee by Alicia Plummer. So as you can see, it is a top-down raglan tee or top. The instructions are written for a plain top, but I specifically wanted to play with color because I realized that in my stash I had a lot of Once Again Wonders of these kinds of retro colors, and so I thought, okay, I will put them together and knit I wanted a solid pattern, because a lot of the top down raglans are oversized or they're written for worsted weight yarn. So the gauge for this top is a 24 stitch gauge. So I'm using a range of DK weight, light DK weight slash fingering weight yarns that I have a lot of. So I'm getting a lot of use out of the colours that I have already, and I think they play really well together. I have really been enjoying doing the striping because it's essentially painting with yarn, so when I get tired of one colour, I switch just for one round to another colour. I don't know if you can see, just to get the colours out of the way, the ends out of the way, I've just quickly plaited them. I'll probably do something better when I come to weave them in at the end. Yeah, and then I didn't get gauge, so I ended up going down a needle. But the great thing about this pattern is that you use the swatch that you knit up as a pocket, a breast pocket. But yeah, it's kind of looking, where I did the short rows, it's kind of looking a bit rough around the collar, so hopefully that will block out. But I'm really happy with the fit, well, not the fit, but the texture and the gauge, and I think that this will make a nice fitting top. I'm unsure as yet as to whether to knit short sleeved or 3/4 length sleeve. I'm not sure, but I'll think about it. This top is super nostalgic for me for two reasons. One is that my parents had a rug on my mother's side of the bed, which is this colour, so it very much reminds me of the 70s and 80s. And it's also nostalgic in that I remember I did an episode where I wanted to create a pattern based on the Misha Black moquette, which is the fabric of the seats for Transport for London. So it's a retro fabric that they used to cover the buses and the district line of the London Underground in the 70s and 80s. And all of the buses where I live, I grew up in West London, and all of the buses around there had this moquette fabric, which was the orange, brown, and yellow amber type of fabric. And originally wanted to create I originally wanted to create I originally wanted to create a cowl or something like that using, little squares of color, exactly like this bus seat fabric. But I worked up a swatch which I showed on one of the episodes a while back, and it was a mess. Like, I hadn't figured out how to correctly change colors, and I was attempting to do I was attempting to do nostalgia intarsia for this top, but the intarsia didn't work very well. I will update you on the progress. This top also has an interesting construction, and I think it's a strong pattern because there is a a decent focus on construction in order to fit properly. So you start, obviously, you cast on, and then you immediately start working short rows, but you do them Japanese short row. You do Japanese short rows, and this was the first time doing Japanese short rows, and I have to say it's a lot easier than wrap and turns or German short rows, in that you're just using a stitch marker to just hang on the yarn as you turn, and then when you get to the stitch marker on your way back, you just pick up the stitch, and it means that you don't get any holes in your work when you turn. It's a lot simpler, I think, than, let's say, doing a wrap and turn, because I think often people forget to pick up the stitch or pick up the wrap when they come to the wrap and turn. So I actually think that I will probably adopt the Japanese short rows whenever I need to do a wrap and turn or German short row, because it works pretty well just using a stitch marker. Yeah, and also with the separation for the sleeves, I didn't do this because together with changing colours and striping the front and back, I think it would have been a bit complicated to maintain the colours. But there are also instructions in the pattern for bust starts, and I've never done bust starts before. So essentially, you do your raglan increases at 4 points around the yoke, and then once you come to separate for the sleeves, you actually end up binding off the sleeves, which again I didn't do. As you can see, I've just put the sleeve stitches on hold, because in the pattern, I think you bind off for the sleeves, and then if you are wanting to do long sleeves, you actually then have to unravel the bind off, which to me was just it would just be a bit messy and unnecessarily complicated. But I'm assuming that this pattern was primarily written to be short sleeve. Bind off the sleeves, you then work flat for some rows, and that means that you'll focus then on doing bust starts for the front, and then you knit the back flat, and then you join in the round under the arm, or in the armpits. So I didn't do all of that. I just simply put the sleeves on hold and continued in the round as you would with any other top down raglan. So yeah, so I am very much enjoying this knit. I will probably knit this pattern again, because I do love a fitted top t-shirt, and so I think it would be cool to get to have some short sleeves, some light sleeves, some long sleeves, and in different colors and fabrics. So I think this will be a standard layering piece for the upcoming months. So next we have another whip, which is the Jose hood. So yeah, I haven't made much progress this week on this hood. I would love to try it on for you, but I think this yarn, because I'm using the woolly knit cone plus some silk mohair from Bitches Bushes for this, it sheds like mad, and I don't want to have this shedding. So I think it does. I think I will give it some washes and maybe even like a light brush on the inside to get rid of the excess fluff. But I think I probably won't get much wear from this side of summer. So this will probably be finished, washed, blocked, and then put in my wool pantry for, not wool pantry, but in my wool wardrobe until September, or at least until the weather starts to get chilly again. So yeah, I talked about this in my last episode. This pattern is very popular. It's by Nordgaard Knitters, and yeah, you start by knitting a rectangle, then you pick up stitches along each side, and then you knit flat around, increasing along each end. And then I'm at the point now where I'm doing rapid increases. So just dropped some stitches. Rapid increases to lengthen the scarf portion, and then I just need to do I think 14 rows, no, 14 increases, and then I think I'm just on to the I-cord edging. So I'm almost done. I've actually taken a break this week from knitting on this because whilst I love doing stockinette, my hands are, because it's a bit warmer this week, my hands are just craving thinner yarn, like a DK rather than lots of mohair. Also, an update on one of the projects from last episode, the cat bed. I'm very pleased to report has been using his new knitted and felted cat bed. To speed up the process of familiarity, I did add a t-shirt that I had been wearing because he likes to snuggle up with clothes that I wear. So I put that in the bottom of the bed, and next minute he was lying in the bed in the sun. Guys, those of you who have been here for some time know that I have this one languishing whip. So in honor of this whip turning 1 year old, I have decided to do a try on. Now, shamefully, I do not try on my knits as I go, and I know I should because I tend to knit top down raglans in the round. So there's no reason why. Well, there is a reason why. The reason is I find it a bit of a faff, but because this particular knit is an all over colour work, I'm following a chart dutifully to me, it's hard work. It's not difficult, but it's hard work. I do feel like I need to try this on. So I'm going to take you along for the ride. I'm going to put this microphone down. Actually, I'm going to pin it for a second. So I have put the arms on long needles. I do have barber cords, which I've put a long one at the back, and the other sleeve is on a long needle as well. So yeah, I think just try it on. Is spot on. I'm very pleased with that. I feel like the sleeves make it look very Wakanda-ish at the moment, but obviously I am going to have long sleeves, probably like bracelet length, I want to say. But yeah, I'm really digging this. Yeah, what do you think? This has been a long whip, so I'm very happy. And I was a bit worried about the collar, but it isn't actually so bad. I feel like with a nice block that will look quite nice. Yeah, no issues whatsoever. I really like the fit. The only thing that I was thinking of doing, deviating from the pattern, is to include some waist shaping on the side here, because I have this black panel which does not have any colour work, so I think that will be the opportune area to do some decreases. And now that I'm looking at it, because I did measure from where my natural waist goes in from my underarm, and my measurements were 15 centimeters. So, but I'm actually feeling like I should actually start decreasing round about now, so that it follows like the curvature of my waist. So maybe that's what I should look into doing. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. Let me know in the comments what you think of my mud. This is the modern mud cloth sweater by Chinua Matthews, and yeah, it has been worth it. Slogging away for this year, I think definitely worth it for the piece that I will get. I have a couple of my husband's most worn sweaters in a pile for mending, so this week I carved out a little time to see what I could get done. I normally just sew up small holes discreetly, but this was rather a large hole going in multiple directions, so I thought it best to knit up a swatch using scrap yarn. Last ditch attempt to save this jumper before it gets shredded up and used as household rags. So let's see how this turns out. Grateful I happen to have yarn that kind of matched and to patch over the hole. I think if I ever come to need to patch up one of my sweaters, I think it would be fun to use contrasting yarn and make it fun. But anyway, I think it has come out pretty cool. I'm hoping once he wears it, the patch will bend into place and be less obvious. Much better than a hole, and anything that lengthens the life of a well-loved knit should be worth trying. And it only took an hour too. I would like to zhuzh up my little craft area here in front of me. And I settled on some pom-pom fairy lights. So I had a look to see what the market had to offer, and all I could find were either the types of string lights with rounded pom-poms, like felted pom-poms, not every other, but it was on the cable rather than actually on the bulb. I wanted ones like pom-poms, fluffy little pom-poms around the bulbs. So the closest I could find was from IKEA, but the problem with those are they're not quite pom-poms. They're like made from like an organza or a netting type of material, and it's £19 for that. So I decided to make my own. So I picked up a cute set of fairy lights. They're purple, and you get 100 low voltage LED lights for £6 from my local home goods place. So I got that, and I thought I would make some pom-poms using this yarn. Now this yarn is some unidentified mohair or whatever, I don't know what it is, but it's just some lace or light lace weight yarn. So I thought that would be ideal, and this I think I thrifted like over 5 kilos for about £4. So all in all, and I have loads of it, so all in all I think this will be a cute and economical project. So I haven't decided whether I'm actually going to make 100 pom-poms for the whole of the chain or just in a centralized, because I would like the fairy lights to go around my YouTube video backdrops. Not quite my backdrop because I craft it all the time, so it will just be functional and cute, and we love both of those qualities. So making the pom-poms. So I've never really made pom-poms before because I don't like them on garments, like hats and things, don't really like them on that, but I think it's pretty simple. You just wrap a load around the hand and then tie it in the middle and then cut the yarn around, and that should give you a nice fluffy pom-pom. So what I think is a good way to go about this is to have different sizes of pom-poms. That will look cute, I think, and maybe not do them every bulb within the centralized area, maybe like every other. I think that will look nice. So yeah, so I just need to get on and make the pom-poms. So I'm just back from buying shit, like literally buying shit. I've just picked up some farmyard manure for the garden. I'm pretty late in season 4. It's already almost mid-March and I haven't planted a seed, so I'm trying to get a wriggle on that. Thank you for spending a little time with me. Like I said, I hope to get these videos out to you a little often, little more often, maybe ideally once a week. And typically my uploads will be like Saturdays, like Saturday afternoon or around lunchtime or so. If you enjoy my content, please give this video a quick thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe because it really helps my channel out. I've tacked on some outtakes at the end of the video, so enjoy that. Have a great weekend and week ahead, and I will hopefully see you next week. Bye!